Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the second of the Casa Simple Frostbite virtual sailing series. Um, Last time went okay, could have gone a little bit better if I'd had the sound switched on the stream. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. So we've got 6 players in the race at the moment. We'll wait another little bit just to see if anyone else joins. And yeah, folks, if you can hear me, it'd be great if you could just give me a wee heads up, and then I'll know that the mic is working. Right, we'll give folk another minute or two to see if they want to join in, and then I will click the big green button of power. So let's see. Right, yeah, the stream does say that there is some sound coming in, so hopefully you can all hear me. Right. Okay, nobody has joined the race in a little bit, so these 6 could be the ones that we have. So, clicking the button now. Right, so 6 skippers this time. Who have we got? SCR Sailing is me. Steve Well is Steve D, the new cover star of the GP14 Association. We got Arthur, who is also a star of the GP Association. They just didn't put him on the cover of the magazine. We've got Flying Dragon, which is Ross McLennan. We got Winner Takes All, and we got Graham Busby. And we've got 47 seconds left to the start. So we're just going to have a wee look upwind and see what the breeze is doing. Looks to be pretty light. There is a band of wind coming in, and then not much behind it. And then another bit of breeze just up the top left, but I don't know if that's going to make it down to the course before we actually start the race. Wind is shifting left, and it's going to shift back right at some point because I've got my wind intelligence. That's for any of you who don't know, that's an add-on that you can get. You get random add-ons before the race. So wind intelligence is one of them that lets you see a little bit more detail about the wind up the course. It's not just me bigging myself up. So Ross has got a good start there. That's him sitting in the centre of the course. Arthur has got me pinned. Looks like there's slightly more breeze. You can see up in the top left hand corner on the radar. There's a wee bit more breeze top left. But at the moment, Ross is in control of the race. I can't tack off because I'm just completely pinned by Arthur and Ross. Ross is gone now. Arthur's going. We're pretty fairly close to the ley line. Actually, not as close as I thought. The wind is going right. Right, I'm going to tack back off. Try and stay in this breeze, and also try and not sail in Arthur and Ross's dirt, and hope that the wind comes back and gives me a lift into the mark, because at the moment this right shift is killing me. So you can see the wind has shifted off to the right, and all these boats are sailing a much better angle into the mark. They're making big gains on me. So at the moment I'm down in second last on the rankings. See, all those boats coming in from the right are going to cross me. So that's Ross. Ross got across nice and early. Actually, he was able to cross the other boat's bows before the shift came in and destroyed all the boats on our side. Let's just take a transom there. I think that was Arthur's. Was that Arthur's, or might have been Steve? So that is Flying Dragon. That's Ross first round the mark, followed by Graham, then Steve, who's slow. He's tacked inside the zone, but he gets around before I get there. A bit of a struggle there. Right, and it is pretty much a straight jibe around here as well. Ah! Can't even blame lag for that one, that's just bad boat handling. So yeah, with the wind this far on the right, you're sailing a short jibe off to this side of the run. It's the rule of thumb is you take the point of sailing is going to take you sort of closest to the next mark, and if the course is being set square, then that will be the advantageous tack. So you can see because the wind is off on the right, the course is skewed, so I'm sailing a much shorter distance than if I had to sail across to this side and back down. All other things being equal, the distances are the same, but if the wind is in the right, there's kind of the expectation that it's going to flick back to the left at some point. Right, gonna throw in a jibe here and see if we can get across the transoms of these other boats. Hitting that mark cost me actually. Cost me quite a lot. Which is why I shouldn't have done it. Okay, the wind is slightly stronger out on this left hand side, so I think everyone else is going there, but I think I'm just going to have to go with the crowd. I don't think there's much to be gained. Little shuggle there. Okay, and someone can hear me. Arthur can hear me. So long as you can hear me, Arthur, that's all I want. Right, wind is going to clock right here in a moment. And I'm on the left hand side. This isn't ideal. So when it was Steve and I split at that bottom gate, he went right, I went left. And I think that he's going to get the benefit now once the wind clocks right. Well, the shift hasn't arrived yet. Okay, now the shift is coming in. Big shift, tacking onto the lift. You can see Arthur's taking the header there. And he's tacking straight in front of me. Ah! Yeah, that is Arthur. So he doesn't have right of way when he's tacking until he's completed the tack, once he's all the way through head to wind. But once he's completed the tack, then he does have right of way because he's the boat that's clear ahead. So basically I was sailing straight towards him, and the only way I could have come out of that situation smelling the roses is if, well, pretty much exactly what happens there, if I'd caught him before he managed to finish his tack. So he ended up tacking in front of Graham there, and he was that little bit closer than when he tacked in front of me, and Graham was able to get through. Oh, and hit the mark there. Could have told you that was slow, Arthur. I did that exactly the same thing in the last lap. Okay, so slight split here. Let's see what the wind is doing. I haven't checked that in a while. Head out of the boat. Right, there's pressure coming in on the far side, so I'm going to jibe back across. Coming on starboard now, and Arthur, he's going to jibe on top of me. I'm going to split. I want to get across that side of the course, but he's going to cover me. There's probably something to be said against the tactical wisdom of live streaming all of my inner monologue when I'm racing. Doesn't really give me much of an advantage, but hey ho. Arthur's sailing out to that side and try and get the breeze. Jibing back and converge. Starboard! Protest! Right, Ross has already finished. Arthur's going to jibe back on top. Arthur's not jibe back on top. Right, the wind is filling in from the top right now. Straight up and I don't think we're going to get that breeze before the end of the race. Oh, winner takes all this. Not sure what happened to them. He was out in the... I haven't seen them in a while. I'm not sure what happened there. Arthur's coming back in there. Bit of a shift, right. So I think I gained from going to the right hand side or the left hand side, looking up the beat, and Arthur lost out a bit. I think probably just in a shift. Okay, decent race there. 4th place. Can live with that. Right, and yeah, so that's the first race finished. Just had a WhatsApp from Mike Mack. Looks like he is going to be joining in for the next race. So that'll be good. And I will get these results processed along with yesterday's results and update the series. So the next race will be CSSC Frostbite 2. If anyone's got any requests for boats or venues or wind strengths, which apparently I can choose now, just fire them away to the WhatsApp and I will try and accommodate you. And Arthur's just messaged saying that there's no disadvantage to me live streaming the commentary because there's a delay. Okay, let's see. Use a laser. Or a ICLA or a Kirby torch, whatever they're calling it these days. Right, CSSC Frostbite 02. So I don't know how much of a delay we're talking, if we're looking at 10 seconds or a minute and a half. We'll see. Right, 5 votes. So yeah, Mike has joined in this time. So for those of you who haven't seen Mike, he is Dr. Mike, which means he's had a pretty busy year. He sails an RS 800 as far as I know. It's a faster RS than my one anyway. So if he has been down at the club, you probably haven't seen him because he's off fighting with the Vortex and stuff out in the lead. Right, 6 boats. Who are we waiting on? Who's in the last race? All the colours have changed, so I forget who we had. Graham, that was it. Right, 7 boats, and let's get going. So I expect Steve to be on top of his game here, sailing the laser. He's a veteran of laser sailing on the loch. Okay, that was very good of whoever that was to avoid me doing a rash no-look jibe. Thank you very much. It doesn't actually tell you who the boats are in pre-start, I think, so that you can't just pick your enemy and try and wipe them out. So it's either Steve, winner takes all, or Graham. But yeah, that's the sort of thing I wouldn't get away with in real life, throwing in a danger jibe like that. Also wouldn't get away with sailing a sort of lime green laser though. It's right, fairly square line. Right, second or two late, but I think I've gotten away with it. More wind out to the right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna tack off. Don't do it, Steve, don't do it. Oh wait, that's not Steve, that's Mike, Arthur? Mike, I think. So yeah, he hasn't completely dump tacked on top of me, which is good of him. Alrighty, this breeze is looking fairly stable. No massive shifts have come in just yet, and it doesn't look like there are too many puffs and rolls either. So, actually, that might be Ross. Yeah, that's Ross. Hi, Ross. Okay, wind is starting to clock right, slightly starting to clock right quite a lot, right. I'm going to throw an attack. Try and get in underneath Ross there. Okay, he hasn't gone with me, that is nice. Who have we got here? Right, gonna bounce tack. I think that's Arthur. That's coming quite nicely for me in the lift there. Yeah, gonna have to sail through dirt. Try and find a bit of a lane. Who's a lane? Right, so that's winner take all, who's come out fairly nicely at the start. I'm going to tack back in just so the wind is clocking to the right. I think these shifts are quite small, so I'm going to take them while I can. Winner takes all is probably going to hit the ley line and tack fairly rapidly on top of me though, which is not really what I want in my life. But if you're slow at the start line, then you're going to be fighting for a lane all the way up the beat, so really just brought this on myself. Right, and then I've hit the ley line quite early. So yeah, there's a reason they tell you not to go out, bang a corner and hit the ley line too early, and that's because at some point you're going to end up on your ley line pointing towards the mark. You got no tactical options, you can't jibe off, and I just have to sit here in a big train of boats getting all the dirt off their sails. And also zero tactical options if the wind flicks to the left like it has done. I just have to sit here and take my medicine, sit on the header and come into the top mark in last place. It's going to be a great view for commentary of what all the other boats are doing, I guess. Every cloud. Arthur's come out quite nicely there. I didn't see how he got past Mike. I think he was on maybe on the left hand side of that beach, so he's got the advantage out of this left shift. It was really not that long since I was talking about how not shifty it was this race. It'd be a lesson to everyone never to take any tactical advice from me. Better breeze and pressure to the right as I look down the run. Bosh straight through that mark with my sail, but that's alright. Virtual Regatta doesn't count that as hitting the mark. Ooh, Arthur has hit the mark, or Arthur's picked up a penalty for something. I'm not sure if that was hitting the mark or for an incident with another boat. But that's going to make things interesting. I think it's going to allow some of these other boats to get their bow out. Yeah. Oh, that is shocking. Such a bad mark rounding. And then this is quite a short beat, so there's really not that much room before you hit the ley line. I'm going to tack here and hopefully be just far enough behind that I'm not sitting on other people's dirt. But yeah, Mike has managed, I'm not sure if that was from tacking the right point or if it's just when Arthur did the penalty, but he's managed to get himself through into the lead. But there is not much in this. All the boats are very kind of tightly spaced. There's yeah, Mike, Arthur, Ross and Graham are all going to be coming in very close at this mark, and it's probably going to be quite a good downwind battle. And this last downwind is quite a long one as well, so there's going to be lots and lots of room for stuff to happen. So let's see how it pans out. Definite advantage to going up the left on that beat. I think, oh, Mike's hit the mark. Right, that's made things even more interesting. Yeah, I think just with the way the wind has gone, people who went left up that beat, they've been sailing to the better side of the gate, and also they've been sailing a slightly shorter distance. Okay, so Arthur's just ahead of Mike. Mike's going to attack him hard now in this downwind. These two here, Graham and Ross, are going to fight. And this will be for anyone who's involved in the star race yesterday. It's separated, it's done the same thing, it's separated off into just 2 match races. Okay, ooh, Mike has just crossed Arthur there. It's quite a good battle. And then we can just see on the left hand side of the screen, there is Graham and Ross. Ross is trying to set over the top of Graham, they're just fighting here now. So what these guys are trying to do is, basically on the left hand side, you have the power and the control. Because you're always going to be driving onto the starboard or going to be lured boats. So ooh, Arthur's got Mike a penalty. So that was a windward lured situation. He's coming really nicely there, so that's well done from Arthur. It's not going to be enough time for Mike to get back in. These guys are fighting with each other. Ah! Okay, and that's yeah, that was a fun race. So as I was saying in the commentary yesterday that nobody heard because I hadn't got my mic on, there's often a big benefit to just keeping your nose clean, letting other people fight it out, get each other penalties, steal each other's wind, and then sneaky people like me can just kind of cruise through on the outside. Right, well done Arthur, good win for you. Right, get a photo of those results. Right, let's get the next race set up. Still no requests for boats. Probably going to go for the 49er this time, because why not? Okay, race. Wind medium, place. Go for somewhere. Let's go for Portsmouth. But we're not allowed to go there in real life. Not allowed to go anywhere in real life. Okay, here we go. Oh, I got my wind intelligence right, so I have all the insider knowledge on the breezes coming down the course. So I know exactly why I'm getting beaten by everyone. Right, so big patchy breeze here. Very patchy. Yeah, there's Spinnaker Tower. Right, breeze is patchy and slightly skewed to the right at the moment. It'll all change by the time that we get everyone into the race and go for the start. So just sit here and wait for who are we waiting for? Mike, Graham, winner takes all. Right, so yeah, we'll give winner takes all a couple of minutes to get joined in. So who have we lost? Alrighty, Mike, looks like you're just in time. You're gonna fire us into sequence now for race 3 of the day. And we've lost someone. We lost Graham. Says there are 7 skippers here. Well, for the 2 mystery skippers, alright, false start for me. Yeah, thanks. Back to the other side of the line. Right, so the stream's about 30 seconds behind, I think, because I've got it up on my phone now. You can set up the streaming software that I use. You can set it up for varying amounts of latency for how long it takes to get the video up. So the way I have it set up today seems to be giving me less lag in sailing the boat, which is brilliant. But also, yeah, it means that everyone else is half a minute behind the action. That's a false start. Well, that was an unmitigated disaster. Right, I'm try and sail off into this little extra bit of breeze. Yeah, so just pulled the trigger there a little bit too early. And I think even though I bore away and tried to sort of slow the boat down and stall it till the gun went, I think the wing was just over the line. Of course, with a real 49, there'd be a crew hanging off the trapeze all the way to windward, so it would have been even more over the line. And also that handbrake manoeuvre I threw in to get back over the line would probably capsize me. So, right, so Mike is in the lead ahead of Ross. They're both firing off to the left-hand side now, and the wind is going left, so they're going to be fairly. I think it's going to be those two leading the race fairly unassailably. Yeah, big left shift. They got the best of the breeze. Oh, no, big right shift coming in. Right, it's coming back, going from attack now. Right, so it's going to be one of those races, I think. Those guys still haven't got the shift yet. Out in the left. It's going to be heckin' shifty. I'm going to get speared. Am I? Not quite. So yeah, just trying to keep in sync with the shifts, and well, I'm going to hit the ley line here, so again it's going to cut down my tactical options to, well, the only tactical option I have is stick on the ley line and hope for the best. So for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about with ley lines, it's an imaginary line basically that if you tack on the line you'll be able to make the mark. So you can see them coming out of the top mark there. That's a ley line. This dotted line, that's another ley line. So if you sail past the ley line, basically you sail further than you need to. If you tacked a little bit earlier, then you would have been able to make the mark anyway, so any distance you sail past the ley line is just wasted distance. Right, come on, get you, Arthur. What's the breeze doing? Fairly square, maybe going to be slightly more to the right as I look up the beat. So yeah, just going to try and stay in this patch of breeze now. The wind has been fairly skewed to the left so far this race. It's flicked back to the right a couple of times, but mainly been on this side. Arthur's extended his lead there. So yeah, I'm going to go for the right hand side of the gate as I look at it. Again, it's the closest side of the gate, shortest distance to sail. Jibe off so I can set up early for the mark rounding. Go for my jibe. Go for my mark rounding and go for an early tack. Again, just early tack, try and stick in this column of breeze. But unfortunately, Arthur's got the same idea, so I think he's just going to stay ahead of me there. Right, going to go for a tack. Yeah, everyone's just going to be sailing up this column of breeze, trying to keep their boat speed up. Luckily enough, I seem to be fairly in sync with the shifts of it, so maybe I can tack and stay on the lifting tack and stay in the column of breeze at the same time. If I was sort of out of sync, I'd have the option between sailing the lift and sailing out of the column. And if anyone's not sure what I'm talking about when I'm chatting about headers and lifts, the wind is shifting, it's going to the left, it's going to the right. So you can see the wee windsock moving left and right. So if I'm sailing on this tack, a lift is a wind shift that lets me sail closer to the mark. So if the wind goes left on this tack, I'll be able to steer my boat to the left as well, which means I'll be sailing a shorter distance to the mark. And a header's the opposite. Okay, sailing into the mark now. And this race is looking fairly well set. I don't think there's going to be too much of a chance of a lead change. Ooh, early spin at the horse there. I think everyone's well enough spaced out that they're going to be able to just ride it into the finish. Yeah, there's a couple of 100 meters, so nobody's going to be in anyone else's wind shadows unless anyone does something catastrophically bad. Really, you can't capsize in this. You can capsize and sail X if you push the boat too hard. So there's always a chance of, if you really push the boat like mad, so in the if you're leading the race, you obviously want to play things conservatively, avoid the risk of a capsize, and then the boat behind would be pushing and going faster. So it kind of added a bit of a tactical conundrum. Right, Mike has won the race. Ross is coming in second. Arthur will be third. I would like to think I've done enough to hold on to fourth. Steve fifth, and I think it was Graham we had him pre-start, so he'll be DNF. Cool. Right, and we can have a traditional CSSC last race of the day in the Star. Graham was DNF there. Right, last race today. Let's get it set up. long place. Let's head to Auckland. Pretend we're in the Americas Cup. Oh, best VMG, right. This is your moment, Peter. Don't mess it up. Welcome to Auckland. And same as before, I will give everyone a chance to get logged in, see if we can get up to 7 votes. Five now, so let's see if Graham and Winner Takes All want to join in. Alrighty, looks like this is our 5. So let's get started. Hopefully I have not put myself more than a minute away from the line. That would be quite embarrassing. Yeah, you should be able to make it back up. Alright, who have we got? Who's this sailing away from course? It's either Ross or Mike. Pointing the wrong direction, off by the pin. I don't know if they're going to try and go for the pin end flyer. Risky tactic. Yeah, I think they are. They're racking up on that port lay line. Going for the Brian Young tactic of starting. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, that's a slightly better start. We go for an early tack now to try and stay in this column of breeze. I think with the way the wind was in pre-start, it's probably going to flick back to the left, so I don't want to get too far to the right of the fleet, but it looks like I'm able to get in across on Arthur now, so usually a fairly decent rule of thumb is to consolidate your gains and tack across if you can, especially when you're going from the left hand side of the beat, because you're going to have to try and cross everyone on port. And in a big fleet you might not get that opportunity twice, so yeah, take it when the opportunity presents itself. Obviously there are a million and one other tactical considerations you have to be taken into account as well, but as a general rule of thumb, I'm just going to tack off to this side to try and keep in this column of breeze, and also to keep on loose covering Arthur. And the wind is shifting to the right. Don't want to get too out of sync with the shifts. Right, what's the breeze doing after this? It looks fairly even actually. Right, so with no big gusts or lows coming in, as far as I can tell, I'm probably just going to try and keep the boat in sync with the shifts. So it should be clocking back left again if we're getting It's fairly standard oscillating shifts you tend to get in Virtua Regatta. Attack back across just to not split from the fleet too much. Again, at this stage, it's also there's trying to predict what the wind is going to do, but there's also just general fleet management, where if you're in the lead of the race, as I think I still just about am, you want to be making conservative decisions, not going out in a big risk, because obviously the bigger the risk you take, you have a lot more to lose than everyone else in the race. You want to be taking fairly middle of the road, sort of low risk, low reward decisions. If you're at the back, you can afford to go off on a limb and hope that the stars align for you. Right, breeze is clocking to the right. So hopefully the fleet will come together before that happens, because the boats all the way on the right have a lot of leverage. No, here we go. Right, that's throwing a spanner in the works. Right, I'm trying to take this lift, and hopefully the wind clocks back to the left before we get to the mark. Oh, the breeze pressure's filling in from the top right by the looks of it. Yeah, well played, Steve. Right, gonna have to go from attack now. Have to take the header. And it's going to be Steve D, who is comfortably first round the top mark. Although I think I should have done enough to be able to just slot into this wee gap here ahead of Ross and Mike. Though actually Steve isn't quite making the mark, so if he has to take a double tack, that could actually bring things back together, because the stars are not quick boats to tack. All sorts of shenanigans going on just behind there. I think everyone's running cleanly. Okay, so the stars sort of tactics and side of the beat and everything sort of goes out the window. You just want to be sailing your own race and trying to keep clear air, because everyone now is in range to attack someone. Go away, Ross. Yeah, so Ross has sailed over the top of me. I'm going to jibe back in here. This is a long old run if you have someone sitting on top of you taking a breeze. And Ross' pink boat here, he is in a pretty good situation. He's got big control over me, because I have to go to the left to get to the mark, and Steve has to go to the left to get to the mark. And wherever we go, Ross is just going to be there with his wind shadow. So I would not be at all surprised to see Ross around us or get through this bottom gate in first. Now, if I was to decide that my one goal in life was to beat Ross McLennan, I could try engaging him as hard as I could and get into a bit of a match race. I'm not sure if I'd back myself in that match race, but it'd be an option. But if I go too hard on Ross, then that leaves me open to Steve doing things like he's doing now. It is going to be change of plan. I'm going for this side of the gate. I'm going to let these guys fight it out because I don't want to pick up the penalty. Right, so how's that worked out? Steve has just about kept his lead on Ross. Don't know what happened to Arthur and Mike. Maybe they decided to fight it out between the two of themselves rather than get involved, but the three of us in our little lead pack have extended our lead. There's a huge right shift, okay, so yeah, that suits me down to the ground. Slightly lucky. Again, as I was saying before, I was the boat behind, so I didn't really have too much to lose by rolling the dice and going for that side of the gate. And hoping that the wind clocked to the right. And of course there's the added bonus of me not getting involved in an absolute fankle with Steve and Ross down at that bottom gate. Right, what's this breeze doing? Looking reasonably even up the beat. And the shift is still saying go to the left. Right, I think I'll be just ahead of Steve. So I'm going, oh, here comes the shift. And I'm going to attack just so he has to sail up to the mark in my dirty air. Oh, Mike is back in the game and Arthur has disappeared. I don't know if I was too caught up in my own battle there. I didn't see what happened between Mike and Arthur. If Arthur got a penalty or what happened. Oof. And Steve has stalled. I think Steve got caught out by that big shift. And yeah, he just stalled out. Right, I'm going to try and... That was a huge one. I'm taking the lift while I can. And that has really thrown Mike back into the game. Interesting race, and also I don't think Arthur's too far off it. He's a little bit back. Okay. Now, I just have to make sure that I don't do anything too stupid. So yeah, these three, so that's Ross, Steve and Mike are going to be in a battle down here, and he's closed the gap on them, and I think depending on how hard these guys engage each other, Arthur could have a chance to sneak back in, so like I managed to do in the last race. Just hope everyone else fights with each other. So that could be an interesting one. We'll see how it goes. Would like to be another shift as well. The angle those boats are sailing. So yeah, they're not engaging too hard just yet. So Steve in the green boat just here. He has control over Mike. Mike is trying to sail the shorter course and just essentially I think try and force Steve into doing something. Actually, no, Steve is going for Ross. So let's see how this one works out. Ross has good control. He can probably come back in and try and take out. He can probably get across before Mike does. And meanwhile, Mike is being covered by Arthur. This is to turn into a decent battle. I think, yeah, Mike is probably just sitting inside Arthur's wind shadow. Meanwhile, Ross has come across to his right, left hand side, when you look up the beat, and he's gotten out of Steve's wind shadow. So I think at the moment Steve is just going for boat speed. He's sailing quite high. He's going to come up and try and sweep Ross. Mike is having to go off to the right to get out of Arthur's wind shadow. So again, it's separated out into two match races here. We've got Ross just about winning the first one. And we have Mike just about winning the second one. But yeah, this is the one to watch from a great distance. It's Ross in the pink boat, Steve in the green. I'm just going to stall it here, not through being cocky or anything, but because I actually want to see how this race goes. Ross is just luffing Steve there. He's got a lock on him. Arthur's really closed the gap as well. And Steve has to, Ross is going to have to jibe back across probably to make the line. He definitely has to go a bit lower than he's going now, and that leaves him open to sailing into Steve's wind shadow. Oof, I think Ross has it. Ross will have it. Yeah, he's too close to the line. Steve is going for his move, but probably slightly too late. Mike and Arthur are very close to each other. But I can't see them because they're off the side of the screen. Mike has got a penalty. Arthur's got Mike a penalty. Right. Well, let's wait here and see when they cross the line. Right. Arthur ahead of Mike. Okay, I will take a photo of these results and get them all uploaded. Cool. Well, thanks very much for joining in with the racing today. It's quite good fun. It's a lot tighter when Donnie doesn't come and play. Right, same time tomorrow I think, and for the next 2 days, 5-day series I've got planned. Hopefully I'll see you then. I'll post up all the details and let you know what the story is. Cool.